Let's go to Jessica in Miami. What's up, Jessica?
Hi, Dr. Don. How are you?
We're getting there. I'm glad to talk to you because so far today has been a disaster. But we're righting the ship today. So thank you for calling. What's up? How can I help?
Of course. Sure. I just moved to a completely new city, and I'm making friends, and I made friends with a girl, and she confided in me that her husband is abusing her.
Oof.
And I don't know what to do or how to help.
Man, so tell me about it.
So I met this girl in the dog park. She seemed super, super nice, and she invited me out to dinner. So I went out to dinner with her and another girl that lives here. And basically, we're all married. So, we got into the conversation about like our husbands and stuff. And she was kind of telling us that she was like really unhappy in her marriage. And I was kind of uncomfortable because I didn't really know her. And like, I didn't really kind of want to engage too much in the conversation because she's kind of a stranger, and my husband is kind of great. And I didn't want to like, I didn't want to like, I didn't really
sucks
have
to be you
anything.
because my husband's awesome. Yeah.
I didn't really have anything to contribute. And then she flat out told us that he was like manipulating her financially, mentally. And then I don't know, I just had this weird like inkling to ask the question. And I said, well, does he hit you? And she said yes. And then she told us that while she's sleeping, that he raped her while she's sleeping. And I don't know, like, I don't know what to do. After that dinner happened, I was outside on my balcony one night and I saw the police roll in, and I saw them like drive kind of towards where she lived.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really think too much of it because, we live in a huge complex, a lot of people, kind of crazy here, And like 30 minutes after that happened, she came to my apartment. She knocked on the door and she said that one of her neighbors called the police on her because they heard her yelling.
Good for them.
And that they came to look for her husband, but he wasn't there. And she just said, the police are here and I don't know what to do and he's not here. And I don't know. Like, I don't know what advice I can offer a stranger.
Yeah.
And honestly, and I'm not trying to, I've never dealt with something like this. So I don't know even how to like react, or I don't even know how to hang out with her.
Right.
Or like be there,
Yeah.
But I want to. I just don't know, like, how involved do you get in these things? Like, what do you say? How do I protect myself? If he's like, certain things she has said and done has kind of like makes me feel like they're both a little unstable and they both might be a little unsafe. And it makes me uncomfortable to a certain extent, but I don't want to like isolate myself or make her feel bad or be like a bad friend. But is she even my friend? Because I just met her. I have a lot of questions.
So, number one, thanks for sharing that. And, welcome to your new house, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You may have heard me say this line before, and it sounds kind of like a line, if you will, but you ever heard me say, not by your hand, but in your lap?
Yes.
So that's one of these situations where you were hanging out with a couple of new friends at an apartment complex, and then somebody dropped something in your lap that now you've got to deal with. And there's a couple of different facets to this. Number one, you're not going to be friends with every new person that you meet. And what I mean by friend, like when I say friends, I mean like someone you're going to tell the good stuff to and the bad stuff to, and who hurt you, and you're going to hear, right? It's your 2 a.m. people, right? We only have a few of those. But you're also going to be a neighbor, and we're all neighbors. So you're in a weird spot because it feels good to have somebody tell you all this stuff, right? And I don't know what to do with it all. Is that fair?
Yeah, fair.
So you're going to have to stop accepting stuff that you aren't equipped to handle, and you're going to have to be very, very clear about A, boundaries, and B, what you're going to do next. Okay? So if I'm in your situation, here's how I'm going to handle that. If somebody tells me something really heavy, I will ask, are you inviting me for my opinion? Are you asking me for, what are you asking for me? When somebody says like, hey, I'm going to hurt myself, or hey, I'm being abused, whatever. Are you inviting me into this conversation? That's the first thing. So I'm going to, like, we're done with the pleasantries there. Now we're in action mode, okay? The second thing is I'm going to let them know you've got 24, 48 hours to call the non-emergency line of the local police department, or I'm going to call. Or I am calling in 48 hours, and I'll be with you when you make your report, but you've told me some stuff that I'm not equipped to handle. And I can't let somebody in my apartment complex be hurt. That's different than, my husband won't give me the checkbook back and he drinks too much. I mean, some of that kind of stuff if they're not inviting you into that and people are just spitballing at a bar, that's one thing. But for me, my line is when it gets into violence, then I'm not going to have that on my conscience. I'm not going to have somebody in my neighborhood who's said I'm being hurt in the present. I'm going to do what I can, at least. Right.
Right.
And you don't have an obligation to hang out. You don't have an obligation to say yes. You can have your boundaries too.
Okay.
Does that feel weird?
Yeah. You know what? It's just, it's weird for me because I feel like I've had like the same friends my whole entire life.
Yeah.
And I'm in this new place where I don't really know anyone. And since I have had the same friends my entire life, I always feel this weird obligation to like get involved. Does that make sense? And because I don't really know anything else. Like my friendships are very, like the ones that I have are very, I guess, deep, and I've had them my whole life, literally the same people in my life, my whole life. So this person, like I meet this person and I am automatically like, I'm like, okay, like what can I do to help? What can I, how can I, even if it makes me uncomfortable?
Yes, because you're quasi-codependent. Is that fair?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yes. Don't be. You're like, oh, just so dismissive. That's so rude. Yeah, just quit doing that.
I'm trying.
When it feels like almost like a live Netflix series you're in now. And what I need you to hear me say is this is super visceral and super real. Mm-hmm. And it feels like, oh my gosh, this is like one of those murder podcasts that Kelly listens to. Like it feels like, oh, I'm in a thing now, right? I'm in a thing. This is real world. Someone's getting beat up right across the hall from you, right? And so I'm going to make that phone call, and I'm going to let somebody know. I don't believe in the grenade throwing and the spring. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I just need you to know this is coming. I'm going to let this happen. And here's the thing she can do because she's an adult. She can lie. Mm-hmm. When the non-emergency police officer comes out, the detective comes out, somebody comes out to see if she's okay, the social worker, whatever crisis team they've got, shows up, she can lie to him and say, no, I'm great. Everything's fine. I'm all good.
So what do I do because I told her, we had another conversation and I said, listen, if you come to me and like he's hitting you or anything like that, or, something happened, I'm going to call the police because I do feel like this is completely over my head and I'm, not equipped to handle these things. Yep. And I feel like since I said that, she's kind of like pulled back a little bit. And that's her. Hey,
I know you want to get. You want her to like. Don't pull back. Keep telling me everything. You put up a boundary, and your boundary is I'm calling the cops, and then she gets to respond to your boundary. You did right.
Okay.
Where you're going to make this messy is if you go fishing.
Right, and I don't want to do that.
But you do want to do that. It's just not good.
Yeah. Of course. Like inside, I'm like, but I want you to tell me, but I also have my own issues and my own family and my own husband, and I can't.
Yes.
I can't do it.
Yes. And so don't go fishing. Don't go fishing.
Okay.
You put up your boundaries. You let her know, hey, I'm a person in this apartment complex. We just met. You're kind. You're nice. Cool. If I hear you're getting beat up and abused, I'm calling. Mm-hmm. And here's another thing. This is rare, but there's always another side to a story.
Right.
And so you got one piece of a story one night at a bar from somebody that you've come to find out maybe embellishes stuff, right? You said she's a little bit like, I don't know, right? Who knows? So you don't know the full picture. That's why I'm calling the authorities, and I'm going to let them sort this out.
Right.
If she comes to you in the middle of the night, obviously screaming and scared and all that, of course you call 911. You know all that stuff. But I don't want you getting your self-esteem off trying to solve your new neighbor's problems.
Okay.
And this is going to sound weird. Like if you dated somebody a long time and then you start dating somebody new, you kind of start from square one, right? It's very similar to your friends. You've had the same friends for a long, long time. I so applaud you. What a stud for going out and like trying to make friends. That's so rad. It's the only way to have a healthy life is to go awkward and risk, and you risked and it went sideways, right? It didn't go sideways. Actually, somebody confided in you. I'm going to take that back. It didn't go sideways. Somebody confided in you. They told you it was on their heart, and now you got to, you're in the middle of it.
Right.
Keep risking, okay? Keep reaching out to people, even if it's hard, even if it's wonky, even if this one ends up, she didn't tell the truth, or she did tell the truth, and now you're going to be somebody who really helped be a part of saving her life, and which is noble and good. But yeah, don't be reliant on her and her drama and what feels like a Netflix show. Like, I can't wait to know what comes next. No, you don't want to know what comes next. You can call the authorities and let them take care of it. If she reaches out to you again, say, what do you want me to do with this information? How can I love you? How can I support you? But just know part of my love and support is calling people who know what they're doing when it comes to this stuff. She's lucky to have you. I'm glad you're asking the right questions.